Hey everybody, it's S. So today's the day. I'm finally heading out to the range to test out my new EDC. So I probably should have planned the outdoor range trip a little bit better because I've already paid for 2 months of membership and I haven't been out there a single time. The biggest problem that I had was the availability of the orientation that I needed to attend. It was only offered in a weird time slot that didn't really work with my schedule, and I also didn't follow directions, realizing that they had weekend times available. But now that I'm able to get that out of the way, I probably should be able to get out there more often. And I signed a 1-year contract, so I'm definitely going to get my money's worth. So I'm going to bring my old Gen 4 Glock 19 and my new EDC. And then I just have this here for decoration. So let's go ahead and see what this orientation is all about.
One eternity later.
Okay folks, so it's pretty much all downhill from here. So I was so excited that I was finally at an outdoor range and I was trying to be super cool, and I was trying to record a shorts video and a regular video at the same time. And there were a couple of people next to me, so I was trying to be somewhat incognito. I mean, I'm pretty new at the range and I didn't want to be completely obnoxious. I recorded the shorts video just fine, and then because I'm a genius and recording whiz, I wanted to make sure that I had good audio. So I attached the mic and I started recording. It was going well, I was hitting targets, I even hit the little spinny thing a few times, so I was pretty much so proud of myself, I was feeling like a professional YouTuber. Then I got back in my truck to try to watch a few of the clips, pretty much to stroke my ego a little bit, and then I realized I didn't turn the mic on.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
I freaking recorded for like an hour. I recorded everything. I mean, I was missing stuff and I was hitting targets as well. I mean, overall, I was impressed with my performance, but you can't hear anything. And if you're anything like me, that sound is like music to my ears. Again, by the time I realized I didn't have my mic turned on, I was out of ammo and I was pretty much out of time. So unfortunately, this footage sucks. So luckily though, this is going to be one of those self-correcting errors. I don't think I'll have this issue again because I'll probably be so paranoid that I'll check it like 20 times just to be sure. I also just ordered a GoPro, so I should be able to get more video or at least multiple angles while I'm out there. I also think it's less intrusive if I have a GoPro versus a camera setup. Then again, it probably really doesn't matter either way. Now this thing was pretty hard to hit. Some of the folks on YouTube either edit out all their misses or they're pretty good shooters. I mean, I personally really struggled with this one. It probably took me about 20 shots just to hit 3 of them, and I would have kept going, but unfortunately I ran out of ammo. So I'm definitely coming back to practice on this one because it was pretty fun to shoot, even though it was kind of discouraging that I kept missing. So it's been a few days since I hit up the range. I mean, I've been so bummed about the audio that I really wasn't motivated to post this video, but I figured this is just going to be a bump in the road, so pretty much why not run with it. So what I first noticed about shooting with the red dot, and let's make sure we're clear, and we are, is that it's either not sighted in or I'm not very accurate. Now those things aren't mutually exclusive. If I had to guess, it's probably a combination of both. I kept losing the red dot and I was kind of all over the place with my shot placement. I thought it might be just because I was outdoors, but then I shot the Glock with the iron sights and I was like way more accurate. And by way more accurate, I'm talking about probably 60%. So the main thing I noticed when I was actually shooting with this red dot is that my trigger discipline is not great. And obviously that's as to be expected because again, I don't go to the range that much. So what I was making a mistake of doing is kind of sliding my finger across the trigger instead of pulling it straight back. I'm not sure if you can actually see or understand what I'm saying, but as I was sliding it across, I think I was pulling it or pushing it low to the left, and that was causing my shot placement to be all over the place. And then when I started shooting with the iron sights, I then tried focusing on pulling it straight back. Let's make sure we're clear. So I was pulling it straight back and really just focusing on not having any jumps and not trying to anticipate the recoil, kind of just pulling it straight back and trying to hold, hold the irons as steady as I could. So now the minute I did that, I had these string of hits. Again, this isn't impressive by any means, but when I was shooting the other way, I was hitting the target probably maybe 30 to 40% of the time. And just for reference, I think I was probably 7 yards away, and the target was probably, I don't know, 8 to 10 inches in diameter. So when I really started concentrating again on pulling it straight back, I started hitting the target roughly again 60% of the time. This isn't any Hickok 45 type accuracy, but it definitely made a difference. Now I didn't do this with my red dot because by the time I really noticed it, I was down to my last couple of magazines. When I go back this week, I'm gonna really focus on pulling it straight back with the red dot. Hopefully that will tell me what adjustments I need to make, and then maybe I can get this thing sighted in. The other thing is that I really need to get some backup iron sights, some suppressor height sights, because I couldn't co-witness because I don't have suppressor height, so I pretty much just have the dot and really no reference. So I'm thinking that that might help with losing the red dot so much, and if I have a co-witness, I'm hoping that it'll be actually a little bit more natural to point. I found some on Amazon the other day, and I think I'm going to go with them. They had decent reviews, and they really weren't that expensive, so I think I'll give them a try. If you have any recommendations or any feedback on these, please drop them in the comments. The other thing that I wanted to kind of talk about was the wear and tear. So I probably need to clean this off. I'm having some carbon buildup. I'm not really seeing any wear yet from the holster. Pretty much all I'm seeing right now is just a carbon buildup. So I'm hoping I can clean that off, and then I probably need to clean my light. What I saw in another video was that somebody put painter's tape over their flashlight when they were at the range. That way they don't get this all gummed up, and then when they leave the range, they take it off, and that way this part stays clear. The next time I go out, I'm going to try to be a little more organized and have some kind of method. So maybe I'll work on specific drills or specific targets just to see if I'm getting better with it. I pretty much just wanted to go out there and have fun, so I was just kind of shooting all over the place, and I was actually surprised at how I was actually able to hit the target fairly frequently. So I'm hoping to get that 60% up. Obviously I would love to get up to 80-90%, or I'll probably need to get to the range more than once every month, but we'll see what my schedule will allow. Last thing I noticed before I went to the range was that this actual red dot was pretty loose, so I had to actually torque these screws down a little bit more. I bought a fat wrench, but for some reason it didn't come with the drill bit for these, so I had to use the one that was in the package, and I had to hand tighten them. When I first did it, I didn't want to break them, I didn't want to put them in too tight, but obviously I didn't put them in tight enough because this came loose. And the last thing I wanted to have happen was to have this thing go flying off. And lastly, I wanted to talk about these headphones. I used these indoors when they didn't really work for me very well there because they don't really fit my ear. I guess there was a little gap at the bottom, so indoor range, these did not work for me. Outdoor was pretty good because, again, there wasn't a lot of people around me. And again, I was outside. The problem is I live in Texas, and these were very hot, so I was sweating a lot. So if you guys have any recommendations on any in-ear earbuds, I'd really appreciate them. The ones I've seen online all have pretty bad reviews, so I'm not sure if that's just how it's going to be across the board, but if you guys have any recommendations, definitely please drop them in the comments. So other than that, I'll see you guys back at the range.